Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Aggie Growth Hacks, the podcast sponsored by the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M that is dedicated to highlighting fast-growing Aggie entrepreneurs, learning how they overcame growth challenges with creative growth hacks, and then connecting them with other entrepreneurs in the Aggie network. I'm your host, Greg Martin, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2001.
And I'm your other host, Chris Hunter, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 1998. Whoop!
Got a little story for you, Ags. Veryable Incorporated is a company that is helping and changing the blue-collar industries by helping them find and source on-demand labor. He is a futurist that is bringing an old-school labor problem into the Internet of Things age. I want to introduce Noah Labhart, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2004. He is the co-founder and CTO of Veryable Incorporated. Noah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We are excited to learn about you, to learn about Veryable, and see how you are really changing the world and disrupting the industry. So thanks for being here.
Oh, so glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So we always like to ask right off the bat, what is your favorite Aggie memory? So much of us has great memories, and we always love hearing what is yours.
Sure. I have so many. It's hard to choose from. The one that popped in my head as you're asking that question was when Johnny Manziel was playing for the Ags, and we're playing Duke in the bowl game, and the ESPN highlight reel a play where he bounces off the tackle and the defender, and then pops the ball over the Duke defenders into the end zone for a touchdown. One, because wow, that's an awesome play. And then two, because the guy he threw the ball to was my cousin, Travis Labhart. So I'm
no
pretty
way.
Stoked. Yeah,
So
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Wow.
So I celebrate that play a lot with my baby cousin.
That is so very cool, man. All right, so tell us a little bit about Veryable Incorporated, your business, and I think you said that you have a podcast, right, called Code Story, right? Tell us a little bit about both of those.
Sure. I'll start with Veryable. So Veryable, what we've built is an on-demand marketplace for manufacturing labor. Now, what does that mean, right? So most tech companies have an Uber tagline. We're the Uber for the shop floor. We connect businesses with on-demand workers for discrete work opportunities. So we're a third labor paradigm, enabling businesses to achieve flexible capacity, to be able to variablize their labor with their demand, and then also to provide diverse work opportunities and flexible schedules and daily pay for the operators on our platform. So we've built a technology that integrates the two through mobile apps, web portals, and connects those individuals on those opportunities. So that's Veryable. And then Code Story is my podcast. So it's my side hustle. It's a labor of love, as you guys know.
Yes, that is true.
So I interview tech leaders and CTOs and other startup founders about their journey building products, and really kind of dig into the technical part of the journey, but not necessarily talking about just technology. It's really about the human stories of, how you made decisions and how you made trade-offs and how you built teams and what you looked for in people. And really a lot of the things that I went through as a startup founder, I record those conversations with individuals. So yeah, that's Code Story.
That's awesome. Well, no, why did you get into being the Uber of the blue collar worker? Why are you so passionate about that?
Good question. So, I can't take credit for the original idea. That came from my partner, Mike Kinder. But we both have had him more than me. We both had experience in the manufacturing world. So I spent 8 years at Alcon Laboratories working in corporate America. And for those years, I supported manufacturing from an IT standpoint. So I had a group that supported the infrastructure around technology on the shop floor for 2 different plants. So I understood the environment. And as a college kid, I actually worked at the end of a conveyor belt too at a manufacturing plant. So I understood that part of the environment too. when Mike and I got together, he started to pitch the idea for Variable, and I really started to see, his vision for what we're doing here, and him seeing that labor was the linchpin or the first solution that needed to be solved in order to bring manufacturing into the new Industry 4.0 digital factory, the next generation manufacturing environment. Without flexible capacity, manufacturing couldn't take advantage of the newer technologies, the newer operations. So he saw that through his experience as the starting point. And so he pitched it to me, and prior to Variable, I had my own mobile development agency and startup development agency. So I built startup solutions for people, and I could shoot holes in them all day. It's like, okay, I want to build that for you, but I don't really like it. I wouldn't invest my own money in that, but I will build it for you, which is okay. But when Mike pitched this to me, given my experience, given my understanding of startup solutions, I was like, this is going to work. There's no way that this is not going to work. The industry needs this. Let's go do it.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the entrepreneur story, right? I mean, finding a hole and then figuring out a way to exploit it and make money and build something,
That's right.
So you obviously have been involved with a lot of different companies, a lot of different stages, not counting this last year, because COVID 2020 threw all bets were off, but not counting this last year. What historically has been your biggest challenge to growth in Variable, and how have you overcome it? How have you hacked it?
Sure. It's interesting. When we first started Variable, our hypothesis was that it's going to be more difficult to get our workers on the platform, which we call operators, than businesses. And so we went about it kind of recruiting workers onto the platform before we even had businesses. Like, come get on the platform, download the app, and then stay tuned, essentially. And that worked pretty well. Fast forward as we started to pilot the solution, the businesses required a lot more education on why they should invest in this new technology and in this new labor paradigm. And we didn't expect that. We expected the individuals at the businesses to just kind of get it real quick. And that still, even historically today, has become something we focus a lot on, is how are we educating the businesses and really coming in and knowing their use case? Because on the worker side, they get it. They download the app, they see the opportunities, and they build it. So having two sides of the marketplace, we're kind of hacking it in two different ways. On the operator side, we've started to use recruiting platforms to direct people to our app. So we use stuff like ZipRecruiter, Snagajob, XYZ. There's lots of different flavors, right? To bring people into the platform that are looking for blue collar type work. When they sign up, they're sent a link to the application, to the mobile app, and they sign up and they see all of the different opportunities there. So that's how we get our user base growing really quickly. And that has worked really well. We're able to feed new markets that we go to pretty easily by doing some of those postings strategically. So that's been helpful. On the business side, what we've tried to do is go into conversations with businesses, understanding the industry they're in, and essentially hand them a use case. Hand them a here's your problems. We already know what your problems are. Here are your problems. And this is how you solve them with on-demand labor. So we come in and we try to sort of circumvent a lot of the get to know you type conversation and say, hey, we're coming to you with value. We're coming to you with the solution that you need right away. So, and that has actually worked really well.
That's really interesting. So I got a follow-up question on that. Which one did you focus on first, right? It's because it's kind of the chicken or the egg, the end users, or because you can't go to the businesses without the end users, right? So which one did you focus on first and kind of hack that,
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Chris. So we did focus on the workers first.
Okay.
So we wanted to go and be able to demo the platform to businesses, which we still thought at that point that it was going to be easier to get them on board. But we did recruit the workers first. We had probably 200, 300 workers on the platform before we started approaching businesses where we could say, hey, look at these individuals we have on the platform. You have a pool of people you can choose from, kind of see their experience. So that's that's how we started it out, and that worked well for our pilot. And I think it was the right decision at the time.
Cool. Interesting. So, we all know that this past year has changed all businesses, right? I mean, that's just a given. So knowing that, what's been the biggest surprise, and the most surprising challenge that you've had to overcome in this past year?
Sure. That's a great question. And there's been a lot of challenges that we've encountered. There's been a lot of positive surprises for our business, being that we support a lot of essential workers in the manufacturing world, in supply chain. So that's been a very interesting and good surprise. The challenge that has been sort of a short-term challenge, we've had pockets of fulfillment challenges. So essentially having enough operators to bid on work opportunities, right? When we've had those, we've noticed that it's been directly correlated with stimulus payments or with unemployment payments.
Yeah.
So essentially, people are getting money and they're not going to work.
Right.
So that's been they were kind of short-lived. We were able to work around them because we have a lot of operators on our platform that are ready to work. But it was interesting to see that happen and see that play out, and also to see on the flip side, when the money ran out, people were right back on the platform ready to work. So that was something that we didn't quite anticipate, but it made sense.
So did you provide a lot of education to the companies? Because I can understand how frustrating that is from the company's perspective, saying I have work to do and I want to pay good money, but I can't find it, and then you're offering that education to them, basically saying, hey, that's happening across the country in every market that we serve.
Right. We do offer, lots of different viewpoints, I would say, on all of those things. But I would even say prior to, instances happening like this, we coach businesses to keep what we call their labor pool plentiful. So we have a feature on our platform called Your Labor Pool. And it's essentially your set of favorites. You can think of it. So, if you post work as a new business, you could be posting to thousands of operators out there, and then you've got to select through hundreds of bids and things like that. As you participate in the marketplace, then you start to work with people and you add those to your favorites or to your labor pool. You essentially start to get this group of on-demand workers who are familiar with your platform, who you like, who you rate highly, that you can, once you get it big enough, post to directly. So instead of posting to thousands of people, you can post to those 100 people that you've worked with before. So in coaching them towards that from day one, instances where there's fulfillment issues, where stimulus payments or unemployment money, things like that, when you have your labor pool at a certain place, those are really kind of moot instances.
So no, looking forward, I mean, you are literally on the bleeding edge of how this type of worker is going to be contracted in the future. And so there's a lot of changes that are happening in the industry. So what are the things that you see in the next couple of years that are going to change? And then how are you going to take advantage of it?
Sure. That's a great question. That's something we talk about a lot. There's two things there that we think about. One we're less worried about, and one we're really excited about. So, there's the legislative changes that could potentially come with, stuff like AB 5 and Prop 22 in California around labor laws, and if you're a contractor versus full-time employee. That's something we keep our finger on the pulse of pretty regularly. We're optimistic about it, and we feel like we're going to be able to come to a solution as a country that supports both types of workers. So that's one piece that we keep our finger on the pulse. The one we're most excited about, though, and it's sort of what we've aligned Veryable to, is the Industry 4.0 digital factory transition, right? So the idea that manufacturing and warehousing, distribution, supply chain businesses are catching up to the technological advances that are regularly apparent today, like the cloud, like integrated technology, like point solutions rather than enterprise systems that try to do it all. Eventually, we see this kind of ecosystem coming about that all enterprise systems, so to speak, are in the cloud. They're horizontally connected. There are more point solutions than try to solving everything type solutions, and they can connect downwards into the manufacturing process. So you look at a lot of IoT type solutions that are bringing data up to the cloud, up to visibility. That's great. That's awesome. It's really interesting, but there's nothing actionable to do with it, right? Just, okay, this machine needs maintenance. Okay, I'm still got to go call Joe in maintenance and put the work order in and do all that sort of stuff, right? So, where we see the industry going is a more connected environment, a more integrated environment where all the systems can talk to each other and trigger actions on other systems based on their connectivity. So we're really excited about that. And we see labor being a huge component to that. And we're positioning ourselves to participate in that and be thought leaders in that space.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So let me ask you real quick, before we head into our lightning round, what's your big, hairy, audacious goal for Veryable?
Great question. There's so many. We want to change, what we say a lot is we want to change the equation for manufacturing, right? Up to this point, you essentially have to, or manufacturing is essentially a fixed capacity. It's based on averages, and you have a fixed number of people. We want to change the way people think about manufacturing and about operations in general. We want to give people the opportunity to think differently, to variabilize not only the labor, but think about how they can variabilize and create integrated environments and connected environments as well. We started with labor. We think there's going to be other solutions that are going to come around like us or from us that are also integrated in other ways. So roundabout way to say that we want to change that equation. We want to change it from this static survival environment to an integrated, informed, data-rich, and on-demand, just-in-time type environment.
Wow, that is a huge, audacious goal.
Yeah.
It's massive.
That's fantastic. I love it, So congratulations. I can't wait to see you actually execute on it.
Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited about it. We talk about it all the time, and we see it happening, and we want to be part of it.
Well, Noah, just talking with you and hearing that audacious goal that you've got, hearing how you are really a thought leader in your industry. You've got a podcast, so you know what it's like. You've got a family, so your time is stretched. What is one of your favorite personal hacks, either a business or a personal hack that you apply that we can learn from you?
Sure. I don't know if this is for everybody, but what has been the biggest game changer for me is getting up early in the morning. My personal hack is 5 a.m, the alarm goes off, set up the coffee the night before. And I hear the coffee going off. I get up, I connect with my creator, my God. I connect with myself. I connect with my mind and sort of settle what's happening in my mind, and then start to look across the day and see what's about to come. So once I started doing that, it's become a critical hack for me. It's changed the way I go about everything.
Love it. In the Air Force, I know, we've got Greg here with the Army. They probably said the same exact thing, is that we get more done before 6 a.m. than most of the world does. Right.
Yeah.
So,
but the Army actually did that compared to the Air Force.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. All right. So next question. What's one book, podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, that you get a lot of value out of besides Aggie Growth Hacks, of course?
Sure. So Aggie Growth Hacks, obviously. There's a book that has really changed the way I go about business, go about really my personal life too. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception. And I can't explain what the book's about. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to just give people a copy. So I would highly recommend that book. It changed. I've given dozens of copies away. Maybe not dozens. I think probably 8 or so. That's a lot. But I give one away every time I can. I always buy it in bulk, and it's a game changer in the way that I see people.
Sweet. Love it.
Well, Noah, the Aggie Network has helped all of us on this podcast so much. Is there someone in the Aggie Network that you really just want to have a shout out to? You want to say thank you that really helped you in a critical time, or just gave some really good advice?
Oh, sure. Man, it's hard to choose from, but the one that pops in my mind is my grandfather. Give a shout out to my grandfather, class of 54. So he graduated in 54 and has been an Aggie supporter as part of the Aggie Network. Has been a huge, supporter of my education and my business ventures always. And he and my grandmother both, so this is Cecil and Jerry Labhart, have been huge supporters of my Aggie journey and my business journey. And, while I was at A&M, they both did their parts to kind of call me out of halfway doing things. And really got me to the point where I needed that sort of feedback to get out of my own way and get to work, essentially. So shout out to them. They've been incredible. They are unspoken heroes and the patriarchs and matriarch of Labhart side of my family.
Nice. Love it. Absolutely love that. So how can the Aggie Network get in touch with you? How can they support you moving forward and, just really help you out?
Sure. Oh, that would be awesome. I'm always open to connecting with great Aggie folks like you guys. You can learn more about Veryable at variablyops.com. You can learn more about CodeStory at codestory.co. And then if you want to learn more about me, I'm on LinkedIn. Is actually the only social network I'm on is LinkedIn. And my personal website is noahlabhart.com.
Awesome.
Well, Noah, thank you so much again for sharing the wisdom. I'm so excited to see you disrupt the blue collar industries, and really to see the vision of everything being so connected, and you guys continue to be a thought leader in that. Thank you for what you shared with us. Thank you for allowing us to learn from you. And I know that a lot of our listeners are going to want to connect with you to not only hopefully get on Veryable and be able to do it, but then also to say, okay, how can I disrupt my own industry? How can I be a thought leader in my own industry? Because it doesn't matter if you're in blue collar work, funeral work, marketing, or banking. All of our industries are changing, and I'd rather be leading it than being told what to do. So thank you for leading the way and giving us a torch and a North Star to follow.
Absolutely. Thanks for those kind words, and really happy to be here and chat.
So how about that, Ags? Was that amazing or what? There's some valuable hacks that Noah shared with us. What was your favorite, Greg?
Well, Chris, to me, just listening to Noah talk, and I've got written down, this dude is a futurist. This guy really is taking something, an industry, not only in a blue collar industry that by definition we're used to having a lot of technical knowledge, but then using your hands, but then also finding a way to realize that the Internet of Things, the connectivity and the connection of all systems is going to happen, and it's going to be there. And for him to be able to have the vision of being a thought leader in multiple industries that plug in and they connect all, like he was talking about, connecting at the cloud, but then also driving that down to the manufacturing floor and making things more efficient, making things talk better, and have seamless connection between solving problems that happen every day. Wow. I mean, that's amazing. And his audacious goal, truly, I think that's one of the biggest and most audacious goals we've had. And I can't wait to see them build on it. So very motivating and inspiring to me. What about you?
I 100% agree with yours. Mine is easy. It's the getting up early. And I say it's easy because that really fits into my whole scheme of blocking and tackling, right? I love to get up early and have my time to myself before the storm of the day, happens. And I like to line out what's going to happen that day, right? It doesn't always happen, but it sure goes a lot better when you have a little bit of time to yourself before the storm of business, of family, of everything happens for the day, So that's my hack, getting up early. I love it.
So you got your 5 magic minutes at the end of one day and then peaceful, calm beginning of the next.
Absolutely.
And then you're ready to go.
Yep. Love it. Love it.
That's right. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Aggie Growth Hacks. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and you'll leave us a rating on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you find us. Be sure to check us out, our website at aggiegrowthhacks.com, where you can hear all of our previous episodes and be sure to connect with us.